Hi guys, today I'm going to talk about the toxicity of third-party situations. In a lot of readings or videos or talks or channelings about the so-called divine masculines or your person or your ex or whoever you ask a psychic or a reader about, um, more likely than not, a topic of a third party comes up. And in the beginning, of time, as far as I remember, third parties were perceived to be another person, another partner, somebody else that your person was dating, or somebody else that they were living with, or a person. Later on, people started showing up onto YouTube, and the readings were more developed, calling these third parties anything other than you, or any blockage in your connection, which could be family members, jobs, drinking, addictions, any situation that puts a blockage and causes a rift in a union. What I'm going to talk about today is how a third party situation is toxic. We all know that we don't want to be in a third party situation. We all know that it is toxic. We all know that a relationship is, especially women, the majority of women want a monogamy. You don't want to be in a relationship where your person is dating other people, unless that's your life, unless you're in a dating stage, unless you choose to be in an open relationship, and that's your choice, and then you go after that. But the majority of people that go to readings or card readers or psychics or seeking advice or even professional advice from psychiatrists or counseling, they are after a committed relationship. They're looking for devotion and love, not for something open. So I'm going to focus on that part of a connection and the concept of third party, whether it's another person, which is usually the most painful situation if there's another person involved in the middle of the relationship. I mean, in a romantic sense. The next level of pain would be caused by family members, like parents, in-laws, and then it comes the effects of workaholism and if that's a word, being workaholic. I mean, choosing your job over your person, or addictions, or external effects, anything like I don't know, mental states or depression and things of that sort. Third party situations are toxic in nature because they put a rift in a union, in a connection. A third party situation, whether you're the third party in a situation with your person, I mean, like, you're the outside person. Let's say you're somebody that your person is using as escape from their relationship, or from a difficult situation with their family. I don't know, sleeping around with you, or just using you as emotional support or energetic support. Or whether you have another third party in your connection with your husband, let's say, or your boyfriend, and somebody else is out there that your person is cheating on you with. It doesn't matter. It's still, there is three people or three items in this situation that make a triangle, and a triangle is never good for a relationship, and a one-on-one relationship, because it imbalances the relationship and makes something else become priority in a connection. So whether if you're the third party and your person is using you as escape, then they are taking something else as priority to be committed to and go back to when they're done with you. Or if you have a relationship with someone and they're supposed to be committed to you, but they're using escape with someone else, and they're going to someone else for their release, or they're going to someone else for their fooling around and cheating and lying, then they're not putting you priority again, right? So, and I'm going to focus on the people, on an emotional, on a romantic third party, but then you can apply it to jobs and families as well. The point of the topic here is that once you're not priority in your connection, something is wrong. Something is wrong in a big way, because a relationship is a work of, it's an effort between two people. Priorities can change between you and them and your goals, and if you have children, your children, but it's a circle of switching priority depending on what you're doing. But it shifts from you to him, to your kids, to your work, to your home, to your finances, but it's moving, right? And it's focused in your life. If somebody else starts showing up into your relationship, or you showed up into a commitment of somebody else's marriage, let's say, then there is an imbalance, because you're looking to get a two-sided relationship out of a triangle, and that usually doesn't happen, and that's the cause of toxicity, because you don't get the attention that you deserve, you don't get the energy that you deserve, you might be putting more than you get back, and it brings the feeling of emptiness and lack and rejection and disappointment and frustration. What I am disappointed about in the readings that encourage women to stay in third-party situations, or bashing the so-called karmics, or the third parties, or the other woman, or the family members in a twin flame connection, or in a spiritual connection, or in any connection that people look at these readings online nowadays, is there is so much focus on that other person, but where is the focus on you? If you have entered a connection with someone who was committed to another person, I mean, I'm not going to point fingers at anybody, whether you knew that you were entering somebody else's relationship, or whether somebody manipulated you into entering a relationship like that, by saying, I don't know, I'm not happy with my wife, or I'm not happy with my girlfriend, she's not all that, and we're going through divorce, or any kind of excuse that men usually make to get what they want outside of a relationship. If you put yourself into that situation, that is your choice, right? Or if you keep staying in a situation like that after you realize that you're the third party, that is your choice. If your person starts cheating on you and choosing somebody else over you, and you still stay with them, or you still keep putting effort into that connection that is imbalanced, that is your choice. The point of this talk right now is that a lot of people don't realize how much power they have in staying or leaving a toxic situation. A lot of times we forget that we have the power of leaving. We bring excuses to stay in a toxic situation because we are attached to that situation. We're either attached because of children, which could be the most difficult situation, or we could be attached to that person and the crumbs that they're giving us every now and then when they're away from the other party. And settling for crumbs, settling for something toxic, settling for the little bit of attention or the little bit that we receive from an imbalanced relationship or connection is what we need to heal in ourselves. The reason why we do that is what needs to heal in order for us to get what we deserve, to move on from a situation like this. In my opinion, people that put themselves in third-party situations or stay in third-party situations have severe abandonment issues. They have fear of rejection. They have fear of being alone. And they might have low self-esteem or fear of the unknown. What happens to them without that person? What happens to them without that connection? How are they going to survive without it? How are they going to move on without it? This sense of attachment to a person or situation or lifestyle. A lot of that comes from childhood. From my own experience and from the people around or the comments that I read on YouTube or my own observations, I came to realize that a lot of this attachment or the fear of abandonment or the fear of rejection comes from the lack of being accepted in childhood. It could come from a relationship with narcissistic parents where you were never good enough for them. No matter what you did, they wouldn't see you for who you were, and you would just keep putting effort and work into making them satisfied. So you were never good enough. You were never their attention, the peak of their attention or the point of their attention or the golden child, like Dr. Ramani talks about. And you didn't have a way out as a child in a family environment. You're not an adult. You can't just move out. So you're stuck in that situation. You have to live with that situation, and you're not the point of attention. You're not receiving what you need, but then in turn you're putting more effort into making your parents or your siblings or your the people around you that were important to you to turn their head and see you. So in turn, when you're an adult and you're in a connection where your person is giving their attention elsewhere, you start putting the effort into giving in more work, more attention, more effort, just for them to turn their head and see you. Because as a child, you had nowhere to go and no way out. As an adult, you also have that mindset that you can't leave. You have to make it work. You have to do something that that could make that person see you. And a lot of times, if you were in a situation like that as a child, if you were with a narcissistic parent or parents that didn't treat all their children the same way, or if you were the black sheep of the family, you could have started resenting the golden child, the sibling that was all that and the point of attention, and you could just look at them and you could resent them and you could be jealous of them, and you could envy them, want to be them. And this can be easily carried into adulthood by resenting the so-called karmic, the other person, the person that your boyfriend or your husband or your masculine is giving attention to. So instead of focusing on yourself, instead of looking at what you can do for yourself to get yourself out of a situation, you want that person out. You want that point of attention gone. You want that karmic relationship to break. And I think this is one thing that these readings, and a lot of readings on YouTube, focus on. The karmic breakups, or your masculine is divorcing their karmic tomorrow, or they are breaking up with their girlfriend because they want to be with you, because they want to come back to you, because they love you. And to me, if somebody really loved you and respected you and wanted to put effort and work into a relationship with you, they wouldn't leave in the first place, right? And they wouldn't betray you in the first place. Especially if I understand that mistakes happen in relationships, and depending on how strong you are and what the situation was like, a lot of people give second chances to someone who cheated on them, and I don't want to get into that topic. But if you keep giving someone chances after chances to make things right, and they don't show any sign of remorse, or they don't show any sign of growth, and they don't show any sign that anything is going to change, and you keep staying there and you keep keeping hope and giving chances, then you're just keeping yourself stuck, because that person is not going to leave the other person. That person might come to you and say, yeah, I'm unhappy there, we're going through a divorce, I'm just going to go for a lawyer. Or, yeah, my girlfriend is not treating me right, you're so much better than her, and all that, and you fall for it because you don't expect better, because you're waiting for the other party to leave the situation instead of pulling yourself out of that situation. I believe if us women knew how much men really needed us, and how much growth and value we bring into their lives, and how much support and love we could give them, really, and how much they probably wouldn't have a stability without us, we wouldn't put ourselves into situations where we had to compete over anyone, with each other, with another woman. Out of a situation of somebody telling you that they are going to leave their other party for you, and then they come back to you multiple times to get what they want and leave, the only winner is the guy. The other party is sharing a guy with you. There are 7 billion people out there in the world. They teach us from early on that sharing is caring. Is it? I mean, is it? Like, who wants to share their spouse or their love with somebody else? This same guy that comes to you and tells you all these things, or that the other girl is not really it, and she's this and that, she's jealous, she's, I don't know, not satisfying him and everything. If he is saying all that about someone he chose to be with, or he chooses to share time with, to you, he will also go to her and say the same thing, right? And oblivious women, they believe this. They believe this, and they start hating on each other. Guys go around and cause envy and jealousy and hurt in women in order to control them. If you look at yourself and the other person and you see both of you equal, then you realize that both of you are victims of abuse. Both of you are victims of manipulation. All these card readings and channelings, and I'm sorry to call them BS, they're focusing on the woman and they're victimizing the guy. That's exactly what men need in order to manipulate us. That is exactly what men need in order to get what they want by victimizing themselves. They're already doing that. And we help them? If women talk to each other about the guys that they date, if they talk to each other, if they were honest with each other, if they were friends, if they were united, if they felt sorry for each other's pain instead of feeling all this envy and jealousy and feeling like every woman out there is their enemy and their guy is an angel and he is such a victim of manipulation of another woman. If women stayed strong together, no guy could go out there and lie to 1,000 women in order to get laid. I go to Sarah for my food, I go to Jessica for my sex, I go to Laura for my energetic support, I go to, I don't know, Emily for my career, right? And then all these 4 women are on YouTube the next day trying to find out who else is in this guy's life and why isn't he putting all his effort into them? Well, because you're not demanding it. How do you demand it? You can communicate it a few times, but if you don't see results, you gotta step out. And don't think that I'm sitting here telling people what to do. I have blamed myself for the same thing. I have experienced the same thing. I have been a victim of all these YouTube readings of how horrible and evil the other party was. Or how evil his family were, or how evil his friends were, and what an innocent angel he was in the middle of all this toxicity. They are not angels. They're humans. They make mistakes. They have ego. They have their addictions. They have their problems. They have their mental and behavioral disorders. Somebody you love is a human being. Take off your rose-colored glasses and see them for what they are and who they are. Even if you love somebody unconditionally, which means you still love them with all their flaws and all their shortcomings and all their good and bad, and regardless of the outcome, even if you love them like that, still love yourself more. Create an environment for yourself where you can grow enough and you can be stable enough to not need a man. At least not financially. Not for your physical stability. They want you to depend on them so they can get what they want. Even if you have built your empire, if you're not confident enough in yourself, if you're not giving yourself enough love, if you're not filling your own cup, then you have an extra thing for that guy to take away from you, and that's your financial stability. They can latch themselves onto you for your home, your car, your money, your position. It's not about becoming an empress in finances or what. It's about your heart becoming strong enough so that you don't lean onto someone for anything. A relationship is an equal 50-50% connection. Both people have to bring equal into it. You don't have to always bring the same things into it, because our talents and our capabilities and strengths are different from each other. But if I bring 70% into this department and 30% into that department, you have to bring 30% in this department and 70% into that, and balance me out, right? That's when you make a healthy relationship, when you put something and they match you for that, to make up that 100%. You can't always bring 80% and somebody puts their 20%. Then your cup runs empty and you have nothing left. And they just ended up taking from you. Third-party situations are toxic because you don't see your worth and you stay in it. They're not toxic because there is another person. They're not toxic because your person is gone with somebody else, or focusing on a job or focusing on family. They are toxic because you don't love yourself enough to remove yourself from it. You have to respect yourself enough to not put yourself in an environment where you're not priority. You can tell your person that you want to be priority once or twice, and that's only to communicate to them that you see and you understand, and that's for the cases where the person might be negligent or forgetful or oblivious to how much time and effort they're putting into something else. And that something else in this scenario is a job or a family. A third party with a romantic partner, multiple romantic partners, is never healthy. Unless you're having the same lifestyle too, and that's a lifestyle, and in the beginning I said I'm not focusing on that. But if you want commitment with someone and that someone is dating around and having an open relationship lifestyle, you don't belong to that lifestyle. And no matter how much you love that person, no matter how much you want to be with that person, no matter how much you think that person is your person, they're not. If you want an apple, you don't go to an orange box. You will not find an apple in a box of oranges, right? It really is as simple as that. You will not find commitment with someone that has flighty energy, with someone that cheats, with someone that manipulates, with someone that is a narcissist. If you're dealing with a narcissist, that person needs multiple supplies. You will not be able to supply what they want forever. Narcissists have a short attention span, and they have an infinite capacity of taking from people. And they have different needs. They get each need from someone else. You deserve better. Do not stay in third-party situations if you want a committed, devoted relationship. It will not come out of that. Remove yourself from that situation, from the third party, and go after building yourself up. And if your person has made a mistake, and if, I don't know, by some kind of miracle they realize that you were the one for them, and they come back and they make it up to you, and they match your vibration and they bring themselves up to your level, that's when you can consider if you want to let them back or not. But you will not find your apple in a box of oranges. You will not find your devoted, loving, committed masculine in somebody else's bed. There are so many good men out there. Detach yourself and release the toxic shit in order to receive what you deserve, which is healthy love, healthy relationship. Bring yourself up to a level to deserve that. If you're staying in toxicity, you're telling the universe that this is what I deserve. If you stay in a low vibration environment, you're telling the cosmos, this is my level. This is how much I deserve. This is where I belong. If you belong in shit, you receive shit. I made this candy example in one of my previous videos. If you go to a store and all you want is a candy, you get a candy. If all you have to pay for is a candy, you get a candy. If you want a full sandwich or if you want a whole meal, you have to build yourself up. You have to get the money for that, which is like your energy, your foundation. And then you go and say, oh, I deserve a full meal. I can get a lot more in a candy with this money. And then you get your full meal. That is the same story with the universe. If you're happy with a third-party situation full of toxicity, full of lies, disappointments, manipulations, mind games, and all that, you cannot look up to the sky and say, God, please give me, I don't know, a marriage and children. That is not where it happens. You're in a box of oranges. You're not getting an apple there. If you can't change yourself, how do you expect that your person changes? If you can't leave something that is not good for you, why do you expect them to leave what's good for them? They chose to cheat on you, or they chose to cheat on their wife with you, or they chose to stay at work and work their ass off because they love money and prestige and positions and luxurious life and whatever. Or they choose to go back to their moms and dads and family members. They are choosing something else over you. Whether they have to or it's their choice by heart. You're the unhappy person in this situation. Why should somebody else change for you? And the minute you make this realization, the minute you see the truth of the matter, is the minute you can start growing. Don't be oblivious to a third-party situation. The other person is not the problem. Your lack of self-love and respect is the problem. Our lack of self-love and respect is the problem. When we choose to stay in a toxic situation, when we choose to be disrespected, when we choose to be disregarded, when we choose to not be seen. We are our own enemies in these situations. If you're in a toxic third-party situation, your person is not your enemy. He's also not an angel. Their party is not the enemy either. You are. You're your own enemy. Because you have power to leave and you don't exercise that power. Even if you're in an abusive relationship, you can seek out counseling. You can seek out protection. You can call law enforcement if you're in a physically abusive relationship, when things can get dangerous. There are ways to get out of what's not good for you. It could be as simple as opening the door and taking off. It could be even simpler, like blocking your person and not wanting to do anything with them until further notice. It could also be difficult if you have children, if they're physically abusive, but seek out help. Reach out to people that support you. Somebody on YouTube that tells you the other person is manipulating your person and keeping them stuck, and they're evil and they're this and they're that. And they're usually women too. They're betraying you, and they're betraying women, and they're betraying themselves. A person that decided to lie to you, to cheat on you, to betray you, to choose somebody else over you, doesn't deserve your love. You deserve your love. You deserve your attention. Put all that attention into yourself. If that person truly wants you, they will find you. And by finding you, I don't mean like in a stalking way. Do your best to stay away from abusive people. But I mean, if they're part of your journey, if they're part of your destiny, the universe will move them in the right direction to get back to you. Trust the forces outside your control. Do what you can control. You can't control the other parties. You can't control other people. But you can control yourself. You can control your suitcase. You can control your phone. You can control your social media. You can also control your emotions. You can control how much you give. Control over yourself, and don't let somebody else control you by lying to you, by playing with your emotions, by playing mind games on you, and by keeping you away from what you deserve. If that person is not part of your destiny, every minute that you spend in their life, every minute that you spend staying stuck with them, is 1 minute you lose with somebody who can really truly make you happy or share their happiness with you, because I don't believe anybody can make anybody happy. Everybody shares their happiness with each other. But you get what I mean. If you stay stuck with somebody who doesn't belong in your life, you're robbing yourself from all the moments, all the beautiful time, all the beautiful days, and all the fun that you can have in a healthy relationship with somebody who belongs with you. Think of every day you cry, every heartbreak that you experience, every disappointing moment that you sit through. And think of all the people out there that you could be laughing with, that you could be having fun with, that you could have a healthy, committed relationship with. Try to heal your wounds so you don't think that your attachment to someone who's playing on your heartstrings is love. That's infatuation in its best way. In the best case. It's just, even if it's love, love yourself more. Respect yourself more. And always remember, women out there are not your enemies. If a man is truly devoted, loving, committed, and faithful, and and healthy, no other so-called evil woman would be able to drag them away from you. Men use these excuses to exploit. They use these excuses to get what they want out of you. They use these excuses to play women against each other, to cause a division, a rift, so they can rule, so they can get what they want, so they can control. Take back your control and stay in your power, and you're the one that writes your life story, not some guy that you think you love, or that maybe you love. I don't want to question that. That's all I had to say for this post. Just remember, true love is not sad. True love is not tears, it's not loneliness, it's not disappointment. And true love is not waiting for someone to leave your life so you can have your happiness. True love doesn't need chasing. It's something you should receive if you put yourself in that vibration, if you're in alignment with it. Put yourself the focus of your life, and you will get what you deserve. I hope this helps. Share it with anybody who you think might benefit from it. And stay safe.